Hi there. Today we're going to talk about poster sessions for health and science fields. So the first thing that we discussed was seminars and conferences, what to expect when you go, what they're all about. You should also know the difference between a seminar and a conference, and also maybe how to prepare for one in the future. We also reviewed the assignment sheet for this final project, and now today we're going to talk about poster sessions. Just a disclaimer for this presentation is that this presentation does not include everything that you need to design your poster session for this unit. It is just a very brief overview just to get you started thinking on some more important things. So here we go. So the first disclaimer is as a faculty member at Lord's University, every single time I teach a writing class, I offer one multimodal assignment. Students usually say, oh sweet, this will be so much better than a paper. This is just a big warning that this is the same amount of time as a paper, if not more time. So don't think, I can push this poster session off until the last week. It takes a lot more time, planning, and consideration than you may think. So poster sessions are not created in just a few hours. They take more time than you think. Preparing a well-organized and visually appealing poster requires a lot of planning in advance. Later in this presentation, we will review several examples of poorly designed versus well-designed poster sessions. Also, deciding what information to include can be very difficult. So you're taking maybe an 8-page position paper and a 10-page annotated bibliography, and you have to condense this into a poster session. A lot of students that make and create and craft poster sessions feel that it is very challenging to narrow down their information. So one quest that we're going to go on with this assignment is really to look at what is the meat and potatoes of my topic. What do I really want readers to understand about my topic in just a few minutes from my poster session? No need to fret about this assignment too. We will take this in very baby steps throughout everything. You will have an entire month from the suggested course outline for the class to gather supplies, decide what platform you will design in, which we'll talk about that more later. I kind of want to get the nuts and bolts of the poster session done before we actually go into designing, and to decide what types of information to include. Through each slide in this presentation too, you'll notice a big thing that I'm trying to provide students within this course is a lot of example poster sessions. So I will briefly just discuss some of the pros and cons of poster sessions that I see and just kind of talk you guys through the good versus bad ones. So this one, a novel approach to campus health and wellness. This one is above average, and I just want you guys to examine it for a minute and try to figure a few things out. So how much of this poster session is graphics and how much of it is text? How long do you think, looking at this, it would take you to process the information? So just think about this just maybe for 30 seconds. So one thing that I really like about this poster session is I would say it is about 60% graphics and white space, and then only 40% actual text. The text is in bullet points. It's very easy to read. I also really like the structure of this one. So this one goes into the campus population, core values, process. So that follows the introduction, the methods, and then it goes to challenges and successes, key to success, and then acknowledgements. So it does follow the 5-step to a research paper format. I also just really like how well designed it is. It's easy on the eyes. It doesn't have 25 different colors. The bullet points are incredible. It's very easy to take in. So to start off for the poster session, the purpose of this is to advertise your research into a visually pleasing presentation. So by visually pleasing presentation, it means that it should be simple for your viewers to comprehend, and it should also just look nice, and it should not take viewers 45 minutes to figure out what you're talking about. So as people walk by your poster, it should quickly and effectively communicate your research. At a conference or seminar, there's not going to be very many people that stand in front of your poster session for an hour. Let's say in the big room that you're having breakfast in at the conference, they have 100 posters set up for people to walk around and look at in the morning. People are not going to spend as much time as you think looking at your poster, so you need to get the information out as quickly as possible. This assignment will give you future practice for seminars and conferences. For informational purposes, it's shaped by the audience. You need to ask yourself how much background information your audience knows. If you're going to a conference with all doctors, they have a medical degree. They went to school for like 15 years. They probably know a lot of things about medicine, science, nursing, etc. For this purpose, your audience is other CBE students that probably have the same level of knowledge that you do right now. So like the example one that we talked about, as a typical research paper, you'll need to include the following. You'll notice on many of the examples that we go through too, that these may be called different things. So you'll need an introduction, methods or a brief literature review, results, discussion, and conclusion. So we'll see how this works out on an example. So there's the introduction and objectives. So this one says that birds are on the decline in the habitat. And then it goes on to the objective, and then it goes on to the study design and independent variables. Then the results and discussion, and then the conclusion. Notice that the results and the discussion and the conclusion are about 60% of this poster session too. So that is what you should be focusing on the most. Unlike other types of longer writing, digital poster sessions need to get right to the core of the matter. So when you're looking through trimming your paper, a little less background knowledge and more key points. Viewers will only take a few minutes, and you need to catch their attention and try to quickly communicate the results of your work. Like I said on the previous slide, you should focus the most on findings and results. We will spend a lot of time working together on considering what information sums up your work or is most important for your readers to know. So think of this as like a 30-second commercial, maybe for your paper. What would you need to tell readers in that amount of information and that amount of time? Then you need to think about how you can best depict through graphics or text. Typically, the less text, the more appealing the poster. This is very important. It's on the assignment sheet, and you may be asked about this later. We will stick to 300 to 600 words of text for this multimodal project. When we start to work on condensing, I would like you to try between 300 and 400 words of text. You will notice on the assignment sheet too, one of the categories on the rubric for assessment for this project says, do you have 300 to 600 words of text? So that'll be very, very important to consider when you're designing your poster. So before we move on, I am going to give you guys a minute each to review these example posters. When you review these example posters, I really want you to consider, is it overwhelming? How long would it take me to comprehend this poster? Is there too much information, not enough information? And which ones do you think are the worst? And which ones do you think are the best? Which one would you like your poster session to look at? So I'm not going to say anything until the end of these, because I want you guys to have your own thoughts, and then I will discuss my thoughts about them. So hold on tight. Try to stay on the slide for at least a minute. Like 60 seconds to view them and see what you can get out of the poster session in 60 seconds. So 1, just has way too much information, I think. There's no way that you'd be able to understand this in just a few minutes. I also think that this would most likely be over the 600 words of text. With this one, you can clearly understand what is going on in probably 60 seconds. Also really like how it has just a few graphics. It's not too overwhelming. It has a decent amount of white space too, or blue, where there is not text. So I hope you can also see how this is better than the first one. This third one, I believe that the font is very, very tiny. You'd have to go up and squint at it. And it also just seems like a lot of information. So with the introduction and the aim, maybe combine those. The method, I like the bullet points here. And then the results and the conclusion, maybe just make this a little bit bigger, include some more white space. Example 4, I really like this one, but my only suggestion would be maybe introduction, methods in the bottom of the second column. Then you do findings and conclusion. A few more graphics is needed in this one, and I think that this one would be maybe too few words. So I really hope that this gives you guys a little bit of an idea of about what to expect for your poster session. Out of the 4 examples, which do you find the most appealing? I personally find 2 and 4 the most appealing versus 1 and 3. Which 2 do you understand easily from only looking at it for a few minutes? Again, that'd be 2 and 4. Which one had too much information? Would definitely be number 1. So the tricky part of a poster session is determining what information is relevant for your poster session. So one of the most common mistakes, like with the first example, is relying on way too much text. A tip is to make your text easy to read by chunking information into bullet points, list, or short paragraphs. Out of the examples that we just looked at, the ones that have bullet points, I think really work the best. It's the easiest to understand, and it is the not overwhelming on the eye, and you'd walk by it and say, oh, I can understand this. You wouldn't walk by it and say, oh, wow, look at that. That's way too much to understand, maybe. We'll work on chunking more in this unit. With graphics, we'll talk more about this too. I suggest maybe 4 graphics for your poster session. If you have a digital poster session with 22 graphics, there's going to be too much going on. You think about this digital poster session kind of like Christmas decorations in someone's front yard. It's nice if you have a few lit up trees and maybe a few things around the house, but people would say that the house would look gaudy or too much if you had 85 Christmas decorations. So kind of think about moderation and what looks visually pleasing to the eye. So you should plan to include more visual presentation because viewers take it in more quickly than reading text. You should use graphics wherever you can. Again, 4 to 5 is my recommendation. And in general, poster graphics should speak for themselves. These are going to be really important questions to keep asking yourself while you are designing for the last month of this course. So number 1, have I presented the most important information for viewers to walk away with? 2, is there a way that viewers could misunderstand the key points I present? And 3, how will you use color, text, and graphics to enhance your message? For the content, you are trimming an 8 to 10 page essay and annotated bibliography to only 300 to 600 words of text. I'm pretty sure that 1 page of double spaced text is about 300 to 400 words. So this means only 1 or 2 pages. So you should start thinking now in this first subunit about how you can trim down your paper to only the most important and essential information. A few reminders as we start to wrap this presentation up. Make sure that you read the 7 reasons why you should present posters at a conference article before you take the quick quiz at the end of this unit. Remember that this was just a brief introduction. I will give you many more resources and ideas for designing. So for the text, it just is way too much. It's way too small text. and everything just kind of looks crammed in here. So for the well-designed one, you can see again, it is only about 40% text. It is bullet points, very short. All the graphics work with the poster. It is not too overwhelming, and there's a lot of white space. So once again, I will keep all presentations hopefully under 20 or so minutes, and make sure that you guys read the article, read the assignment description for Find the Mock Seminar, and you will be done with the first subunit for this final poster session. So thank you, and I hope you guys have a great day.